There is one button that comes pre-installed on every single MacBook out there that nobody ever talks about, and even less people know what it actually does. It's an undocumented feature that Apple has put in place since the very first MacBooks back in 2015, and to this day, nobody really knows why they did it or how it can be helpful for you. So in today's video, we are going to go over exactly what this button does, what you can use it for, and how you can get the most out of it. So let's start off with the basics. Where is this button located, and what does it look like? Well, it's called the hidden mode switch, and it's located right next to the volume up and down buttons at the top of your keyboard. You might have noticed that the switch looks slightly different from the others. Instead of being a regular round button, this one is more of a square shape and also has a line running through it horizontally. Now, as I mentioned, this is a switch, which means that when you press it, it doesn't do anything. However, if you hold it down for a few seconds, it will activate something known as hidden mode. The cool thing about this is that you can enable it and disable it whenever you want to. For example, if you hold the button down for a couple of seconds until you hear a tone and then release it, hidden mode is on. And if you press and hold it again until you hear a second tone, hidden mode is turned off. But wait, what is hidden mode and what is it used for? Well, simply put, it forces your Mac to turn off all wireless radios instantly, including Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and cellular connectivity. This means that no data can come in or go out of your device unless you plug in an Ethernet cable into the MagSafe port, at which point your Mac will connect to the internet via wired connection only. This is actually really useful if you are trying to troubleshoot a problem and believe that the issue is related to one of your wireless adapters, in which case by forcing your Mac to use a wired connection only you can easily see if the issue still happens or not. Another reason why you might want to turn this feature on is if you are traveling and do want any data to be sent or received from your Mac while you are away. For example, if you were to take your laptop on a flight and forgot to bring the airplane mode sticker so that you can cover the Wi-Fi antenna well, in this case, you can simply turn on hidden mode before getting onto the plane, and once you re-up in the air and disconnected from the internet, you can turn it off again. By doing this, you prevent any data from being sent or received from your Mac, and potentially incurring roaming charges that some carriers might apply. And speaking of carriers, another great use case for this feature is if you are trying to keep track of your data usage. You see, cellular connectivity is quite expensive compared to a Wi-Fi connection. So if you are somebody who uses a lot of cloud storage or regularly streams music or videos, well, in these cases, turning on hidden mode can significantly reduce your monthly bill. As an example, if you have an unlimited Wi-Fi plan at home, but only a limited data plan on your phone, well, you can actually tether off your iPhone by connecting your Mac to its hotspot. But because hotspot connections are usually quite expensive, a simple solution to this would be to enable hidden mode on your laptop and only turn it off when you are at home and connected to your Wi-Fi network, which is much cheaper than using your cell service. And while we are talking about cell services, another great use case for this feature is if you are experiencing poor reception on your MacBook because the built-in antenna isn't the best. If you are somebody who works a lot from home, then chances are you might have your router close by. And if that's the case, you can actually plug an Ethernet cable into it and then plug the other end into your Mac's MagSafe port, essentially turning your AirMac into a wired connection. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would I want to tether off my iPhone and then connect to my Mac via Ethernet cable instead of just connecting to my Wi-Fi router directly? Well, remember that if you enable hidden mode, your Mac won't try to connect to Wi-Fi because the radio is turned off. So you can simply plug in the Ethernet cable and immediately start browsing the internet without having to worry about your Mac connecting to a network that might have weak signal. And lastly, another reason why you might want to use hidden mode is if you are watching a movie or listening to music and want to make sure that nothing interferes with your audio. See, wireless networks operate on the same frequency as Bluetooth headphones and speakers. So if you turn them on, they might interfere with each other and introduce unwanted noise into your system. In this case, by enabling hidden mode, you prevent your Mac from trying to connect to a Bluetooth speaker or headphones and potentially causing interference. The last thing I want to mention is that although I said that you can enable and disable hidden mode by pressing and holding the switch for a few seconds, You can also do this programmatically by running a command in the terminal app. For example, if you type in sudo network setup w hidden off, hidden mode will turn off. And if you type in sudo network setup w hidden on, well, hidden mode will obviously turn on. Now, although I've gone over a bunch of use cases already, I'm sure you can think of a few more scenarios where disabling your Mac OS wireless radios might be useful. So feel free to leave a comment down below and let us know what you would use it for. Lastly, if you are enjoying this channel so far, make sure you subscribe so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. With that said, I want to give huge shout-outs to our top patrons. Thank you guys so much for supporting and allowing me to continue making videos. If you would like to become a patron as well, we will have a link to that down below. And lastly, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody else who watches these videos. Really appreciate it, and I hope to see you around in the next video. Now here's a fun fact. Did you know that the first Macintosh computer was unveiled on January 24th, 1984? That's right. The very first Mac that started it all was introduced almost 40 years ago. Back then, personal computers were very common in Apple. Engineers had to work very hard to convince the bigwigs at the time that a user-friendly computer with a mouse and a graphical interface was not only possible, but could also become a household item. They wanted to call the Mac the Macintosh, and originally it was designed to cost $1,000. But Steve Jobs wanted to bring the price down to $500, which he eventually did, thanks to an innovative manufacturing process that used plastic enclosures instead of metal. When it was unveiled, the Mac was mostly received well by critics, with most of them praising the computer's unique design and ease of use. However, some didn't think it was powerful enough, and others felt that $500 was too expensive. But despite all that, the first Mac sold pretty well, with Apple selling 70,000 units in the first year and a total of 10 million Macs throughout the years that followed. The impact that this computer had on the world was huge. It pioneered innovations such as a built-in screen and a fully mouse-driven interface, which became the standard in the industry and allowed Apple to grow into one of the most recognizable brands out there. If you enjoy this series, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified every time I upload a new episode. And if you want to support the series and allow me to make more of these videos, we will have links to our Patreon down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.